So today we're going to decode some of the subtle messages your body sends when it's missing something really vital. We're going to explore why feeling just okay might actually be a sign of a hidden hunger, and more importantly, what you can do about it. Okay, let's kick things off with a simple question. Think about any plants you have at home. You know what happens when they're not getting what they need, right? Well, what if I told you your body works in a very, very similar way? Exactly. You see a plant's leaves turning yellow and you know it's missing a nutrient. Well, your body does the same thing. That nagging fatigue you can't shake or catching every single cold that goes around, those are signals that your nutritional needs just aren't being met. So let's run with this idea, this powerful metaphor. Think of your body as a garden. And just like any garden, for it to really thrive, it needs the right balance of nutrients from its soil, which for us, of course, is our food. Now, when I say nutrient deficiency, you might be thinking of, old-timey diseases you read about in history books, like sailors getting scurvy. But the reality for most of us today is something way more subtle. It's a kind of hidden hunger. Let's break this down a bit. On one hand, you've got clinical deficiencies. These are the big, scary ones, like scurvy, that are thankfully pretty rare today. But on the other hand, there's what's called subclinical deficiency, and this is the hidden hunger we're talking about. It's a chronic, low-level shortage that doesn't cause a dramatic disease overnight, but it's often the real culprit behind that persistent fatigue, getting sick all the time, and it can even contribute to major health issues down the road. And check out this quote from Albert St. George, the actual scientist who discovered vitamin C. It's so powerful. He argued that scurvy isn't the first sign of a deficiency, it's basically the last. Just because you don't have a full-blown disease doesn't mean you're optimally healthy. For true wellness, our bodies need much, much more. And this hidden hunger is no small thing. While those severe clinical deficiencies affect less than 10% of people in the US, some studies show that these more subtle subclinical issues could be affecting as many as 1 in 3 of us, depending on the specific nutrient and the group of people you're looking at. So, what are the roots of this problem? I mean, why do these deficiencies even happen in the first place? Well, it generally comes down to 2 main pathways. It usually happens one of 2 ways. First, there's inadequate intake, which is pretty straightforward, right? You're just not eating enough of the right stuff. But second, there's poor absorption. This means that even if you do eat all the healthy foods, your body just can't properly use them. Inadequate intake can happen for all sorts of reasons. It could be as simple as not consistently eating enough fruits and veggies, or it could be due to a restrictive diet. For example, vegan diets can be incredibly healthy, but if they're not well planned, they can sometimes be low in key nutrients like B12, iron, and calcium. And of course, big life stages like pregnancy dramatically increase your body's demands for nutrients. Okay, so the second path is something called malabsorption. Basically, it's a condition where your gut can't effectively pull the nutrients out of your food. Things like celiac disease, Crohn's, or even having had certain surgeries can mess with your body's ability to absorb the good stuff, no matter how healthy your diet is. All right, so now that we know the causes, how do we actually start reading the signs? Let's dive into a kind of field guide for some of the most common deficiencies and their telltale symptoms. So let's look at some common connections here. For instance, that deep fatigue you just can't seem to kick, it could be a sign of low iron, which is absolutely crucial for carrying oxygen in your blood. Or if you feel like you're getting sick constantly, it might be linked to low vitamin D. The big takeaway here is that these really common complaints can be your body's way of signaling a very specific need. And, some of these signs can be, downright strange. For instance, an unusual and really strong craving for non-food items like ice or even dirt is a known and pretty peculiar sign of a significant iron deficiency. It's just a great example of how our bodies can communicate in some very unexpected ways. So, knowing all of this, how can we start tending to our own health gardens? The goal here isn't to self-diagnose, of course, but to be more informed and proactive about our own well-being. Here are a few key steps. First, just prioritize a varied diet packed with whole foods. Second, really try to understand that your needs can change based on your life stage or any health conditions. And this last one is so important. Instead of just guessing and grabbing supplements off the shelf, talk to a professional, like a doctor or a registered dietitian, who can give you truly personalized guidance. And that professional guidance is absolutely key, because diagnosing this stuff isn't always simple. The symptoms can be really subtle, and believe it or not, even blood work can sometimes be misleading. Think of it like an iceberg. The amount of a nutrient you see in your blood is just the tip. it doesn't always reflect your body's total stores hidden beneath the surface. So we'll end with this question, bringing our metaphor full circle. Thinking about your own health, your own human garden. What's one small, simple step you can take, maybe even today, to nourish it just a little bit